Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the fourth episode of Smart Stack. I'm one of your co-hosts here, Tom, joined again by Massimo. How are you?
Great.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. It was a
Okay.
fun recording week. I like these apps. I'm doing well.
You're
It's race
using one
weekend
of these
again. So
already, right?
I
You're kind
am.
of like
Yeah.
in your
So
day-to-day.
the
Yeah.
one I reviewed, I've been using for a year. So take that with a grain of salt, I guess. But yeah, I am. Yeah.
No, that's good. And yeah, I mean, one thing I think in the last episode we said, oh, we're going to talk about AI data cleanup. We actually didn't end up doing that. So really, I think it came down to us just not being too excited about it. And I think that's one thing that we're kind of letting guide us as we go through this channel, which is we don't want to be just doing stuff to check the box or to say, hey, this might get a lot of views or this, that. We're more so looking at things that are exciting to us, I think, right? Because then what I find is, I think we've talked about it maybe on this podcast, but in general, people know if you're excited in a conversation or not. And if we're just going to be faking it about some data cleanup tool, it's not really worth it.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
You'll see the boringness on our face or the boredness. So
yeah,
this will be much better. I think we
yeah,
both enjoyed it. I mean, you haven't been using one of these. I think you knew about them, so you were going in a bit more as an explorer per se. But yeah,
yes.
I think they're popular tools these days, and I think they're worthwhile talking about.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, we've kind of alluded to it, and before we get diving right into it, we will do a recap of last week. So let me get it up here. So I did the VS Code and
I did
Copilot,
Cursor.
and you were on Cursor. So do we each have a week? That's kind of going to be, yeah, you just crossed 1 week. Actually, you're at 6 days and 22 hours, so we'll do that.
Round up.
After 6 days and 22 hours, you got 67 views. Wow, it's our top video.
Wow,
Yeah, 67
Cursor's
views.
popular.
Yeah, and one subscriber coming out of it. Maybe we got to layer in
Nice.
like subscribers somehow.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
I'm
I don't
just
know.
looking now. I think I got one dislike on it though.
Yeah,
So
and then those will take you out.
yeah,
Yeah, I know what you can do with this dislike. So okay, at the same time, 622, I had 28 views. So didn't get it there, but got two subscribers out of it.
okay. So we got to make a weighting matrix on
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
so it's gonna get complicated. And then we gotta discount the dislikes and oh man. But views, no views we're doing. So you got week three. So what I think it's actually, yeah, now
I
you're
think it was
winning, right?
ones. Yeah. So now it's
Yeah,
2-1. Yeah.
2-1, 2-1 for you. I'm still a bit cheesed about last or the week before because that was the AI chatbot, which
I
yours
got
has
mashed
20
on that.
views
Yeah.
now. Mine has 64, but we were doing like for life, so it is what it is. You gotta stick
I
to the
see.
rules. Yeah, like it's after we kind of set the line. Mine's been doing pretty well, but in any case, is what it is. 2-1. So we'll keep rolling here. But yeah, this week we're talking about, I don't know what you call them, AI calendar
I call them
planners,
AI scheduling tools, or
scheduling
yeah,
tools.
that's a good
Okay.
point. We should have prepped that.
Yeah, we should have had a little punchier thing there, but it's called the AI schedulers. So why don't you take it away? You've been working with these tools for a while, and so yeah, you're going to be a bit better to walk us through exactly what they do.
For sure. Yeah. So I actually reviewed an app called Reclaim AI. So both of them have AI in them. And I mean, I do air quotes, they do have some AI features. So essentially, what they are, I'm not positive on Tom's, but pretty sure it's a calendar that typically integrates with your actual calendar, Google, Outlook, whatever, a task manager, and sometimes even a project manager all built in. Now, that sounds okay, whatever, boilerplate. But the AI part or the cool part is as you fire tasks into your day or your week, and as your calendar moves and people book you, this will actually look at the task, look at the priority, even look at the effort it takes to do it, and it'll move the tasks around dynamically throughout your day as things are scheduled. It'll also not let people schedule if you're doing like a deep task and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
the way I like to think about it is it's kind of like an assistant. And I think that's kind of how they're branding themselves in some ways, or at least Reclaim is, where it's like this thing is moving your calendar around as an assistant would do, scheduling your task as an assistant would do, etc. And so Reclaim is an app that's been around for about 2 years. They recently got bought by Dropbox about 6 months
Really?
ago.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a pretty big deal for Dropbox, a big acquisition. Everyone was freaking out when that happened. They're like, "Oh, it's going to go to crap." But it's honestly just built in a lot of enterprise features. I think Dropbox
Yeah.
has a lot of big clients. Reclaim, I would say the claim to fame with it. So first off, on the price side, it's probably one of the more affordable ones. It's $8 a month for the team edition. Now they have two larger editions that they just came out with post acquisition, business and enterprise, that are a bit more expensive. But yeah, so it's about $100 a year. It's more geared towards solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, or small teams. It's
Hmm.
not really focused currently. I haven't seen the business plan, but the one they've been in market with for a while is really focused on that. The coolest part that I like about it is, or a couple of them are, number one, I found it super user friendly. So I actually tried the tool Tom's going to talk about. I tried another one as well. Reclaim had this neat thing where it's like, if you're paying for the other tool, you can come over here, show
Oh,
us your
really?
invoice, and we'll give you a 20% discount.
Oh my
And
gosh,
so I
that's
did,
hilarious.
and I got a
Yeah,
20. So I
he
thought that
did
was,
too.
I
Yeah,
thought that was a pretty interesting strategy, and it worked on me. Very user friendly interface, very bubbly, purple, greens, like very friendly. But it's two main things that I think it's really good at are on the task management front. It allows you to schedule everything in a calendar view, in a Kanban view, and you can optimize it, which is great. But the smart scheduling is really cool. So it has two features there. One, if you're trying to book a time with your team, so let's say there's 5 people on a team
yeah,
all trying to get together for a sales call, yours might have this too. It actually looks at everyone's calendars and will
cool.
actually find a slot that works. And then two, you can actually have scheduling links for your clients. And so you can say, okay, 30-minute meetings, 40-minute meetings, give them out to your clients. And now it's going to take into account the tasks that you have to do. If some of them have been pushed 3 times, it's going to lock them, and then it's not going to let
Or it's
someone
a high
book.
priority
Yeah.
thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So it's really cool. On a personal side, I've been using it. I've done some fancy stuff where I auto put tasks in there for my meeting with another AI. But in general,
yeah,
I've been putting tasks in there. I find that the AI is really good where it'll actually move things around based on my meetings really well, especially the shorter tasks. It slots
yeah.
them in at times of days. I've noticed it's gotten better. Kind of the sucky side, I would say, on mine. First off, it only works with Google Cal.
Mm,
So
sure.
you got to be a Google user. Two, there's no like project management features, things like that. And some of the other tools have that. But the most frustrating part is there's no mobile app, which kind of is annoying for me because it's like, okay, if I'm walking around and I think of something, or if I'm talking to a client on the phone and I want to launch it in, there's no
Yeah,
mobile
yeah,
app. And I know yours has a really good one.
yeah.
And so they have this like janky way they tell you to do where they like save this web page as a browser shortcut
Oh
on your phone. So
no.
they at least kind of tell you how to get there. It was one of those things where they kept saying it'll come, and then they got acquired, and now I don't know if it'll ever
Yeah,
come.
it's now just buried at
Yeah.
number
So
800 on the list.
um,
Yeah,
yeah, but in any case, the main features of mine are calendar and task management for yourself, I would say. And it does a really good job. Like in their branding, they're like, for the art, they show like someone like an artist in San Francisco and like a copywriter, like those
yeah,
type of people.
yeah, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, a couple things there, I guess. Yeah, I mean, the Google Calendar thing, whatever. I mean, the good thing is that if you're using another calendar, most other calendars also integrate with Google Calendar. So you can always just almost use it
That's what
as
I
like a,
had to do. Yeah.
yeah, okay. You can just use it as like a middleman, right? So that's it. And I think, that makes sense, I think, and you'll see it in mine that they go a little bit more, I think a little bit more sophisticated, but for yours, it seems like, okay, it's just about picking it up quickly, not having to pay a lot of money for it. Just get going and just start hammering it in. And, I think it's something interesting to say, okay, you've been using it for however long you have, and the AI is actually good, right? And that, so, because that's the other thing about it. I mean, not just this tool, but every tool, it's always like, our AI will do this for you, and now you've just saved 18 hours a week or whatever. Like, there's always these grandiose claims. It's tough to know the signal from the noise, what's actually going to do stuff for you. And so that's interesting. That's really interesting that you actually,
It
uh,
You can
yeah, go
actually
ahead.
fine tune it as well. They've got some settings where it's like, I didn't mention, but there's a habit tracker in there too, where you
Hmm.
can say, okay, I want to do these habits every day. And so you can actually fine tune it and say, always prioritize habits over tasks, or once a task is
Yeah,
greater than or is high priority, always. So there's some fine tuning, but I noticed many times where it would slot something in, and you can put buffer zones and stuff. It would slot something in. I would just go come out of a meeting. I'm like, okay, what do I do? And it slotted something in when I had told it to prioritize sales tasks, because you can tag them. And I'm like,
types of
okay,
tasks.
this is my like sales time a day. Great. So like it was good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, and I guess yeah, like I mean, well, I'll talk a little bit about mine, and then we can kind of compare. So yeah, I did Motion, which I think is kind of like the Cadillac. I think it's the one
Yeah,
that most people think of when they think. I don't know if they were first to
they
market, but I
were,
think
as
they
far as I know.
yeah, but they're really pushing it, and they've done some pretty cool things. I mean, it was kind of interesting for me. I went to their thing. I was like, okay, this is going to be a calendar tool, and then the first thing you see, they say, okay, we're a calendar tool, a task tool, but we're project management. We're also a meeting tool. We're also a doc, like you do docs in it. And I think well, I was kind of a bit thrown back a bit because I think, we've had a lot of experience with these types of tools, well, just any software tools in general. I always get a little bit nervous when people claim to do 100 things. When you do 100 things, you end up doing none of them really that well. But that really wasn't so much my experience. I did in my video, I didn't go through every single thing because it is a big app and there are a lot of things. I focused on those core features and I think they do a good job with those core features. But that's maybe the point, right? Is that okay, they did a really good job with these core features, and then inevitably their backers or their shareholders, whoever, say, okay, well, now we need to expand. Now we need to provide more value. Now we need to do stuff. And then they start dabbling in all these other things. And so I'll talk about those other things in a second. But yeah, I mean, in terms of what Motion does, it's similar. It'll integrate with your calendar. I think it does Outlook's calendar too. So, okay, great. It'll do iCloud as well. So, okay, that's good. The same thing is that the basis is, you have meetings and then you have tasks that can be prioritized around it. What I really liked is, yeah, you could do priorities for your tasks. You could also like chunk it out, and you can tell me if it's like, okay, this task is a big one, so it's 4 hours, but take it and give me it in like 30-minute
Yeah,
chunks.
you can
And
do
I'll do
that. Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So that was cool. And then you could also do recurring tasks. I think that's like your habits. Okay, every single day you do something like that. So yeah, so that was good. And honestly, that's where I spend most of the time in the video, just kind of walking through those core features. What I got excited about, and even for our team thinking about, was more the project management side of things. So how that one works, it's not too crazy. I mean, we've worked with other project management software, and the concept's the same, right? Which is there's this thing called like a project, and within the project, there's predefined tasks, right? So, okay, like the example I did in the video was filming a video, right? Like filming a YouTube video. And so it's like, okay, well, what do I got to do? I got to do the pre-production, and they actually want you to do it in kind of these like chunks where, hey, you have to get all the pre-production done before you go to the next chunk. Pre-production, I need to do my research, I need to do my thing, whatever. There's 3 tasks there. And then, okay, production is actually just filming the video, great. And then post-production, okay, I got to edit it, I got to make the YouTube thumbnail, and I got to upload it to YouTube. And so you can define all of those things, and for every single one of them, yeah, you can do, all your tasks, you can do all the things, and you can define for the project the start date and the end date, and it'll then say, okay, for each task, when should it start relative to the start date, right? So you can kind of define these. So if I say I got to start this project next week, and I got to get all my research done, it's a 2-week project. I have to get all my research done within 3 days. Okay, it'll slot that in and say, okay, within those first 3 days of next week, do that sort of things. Yeah, and so a lot of parameters, a lot of little dials you can do, but the idea, of course, is then once it's in, you can just get it on repeat. So if you're doing the same type of project again and again and again, you don't have to manually create it. You can just say, okay, new project. This one's called the Motion AI calendar video. Pop it in, and then off you go. So that was pretty cool. I mean, in terms of the criticisms, I would say that yeah, it's a little bit. I mean, especially even online, it's the same thing. It is a lot, right? There is a lot to it. Yes, it's the stuff I talked about where there's documents and all these other things, which kind of confuse things, honestly, in my opinion. But it's also even just like setting up that project as I described it. Like it takes time, right? You got to click, 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 click. You got to do all these things. They try to make it a little easier where you use AI and you give it a prompt and you say, hey, I'm trying to build a project in which I do a YouTube video, and they'll make the tasks for you. I find it actually created too much noise where really a project should have had 4 tasks and they made it have like 20 tasks. Like they really try to, and so that was too much. So you kind of have to, with this tool, really kind of dig in, realize it's not going to be a quick thing. You're probably going to be a week or two of really fine tuning everything, of intentional work before it's even useful. But then, yeah, it's a little bit more powerful. It's a little bit more designed for teams. The other cool thing with a project is you can define roles. So it's like, okay, my video editor and then the filmer. And so then on a project by project basis, we both could use it. And I could say, for this project, now Massimo is the filmer. And now it's going to do it on your calendar. And then okay, in this video, I'm the filmer, and then put it on mine. So that was good. And honestly, the only other thing I'd say that I was excited about, but I actually didn't even get to it in the video, was it does have basically like a integrated Fathom type thing. So those AI note takers, you can have one in motion. It can come into your meetings. It can do all those
Wow.
things. And then the idea, of course, is that if it has coming out of that meeting, it hears, well, yeah, I'll follow up with you today on that. It'll make that and be like, you said today, you said you do that.
Wow. Oh, that's
Here it
cool.
is.
Yeah.
You got to do it. And it won't force it in your calendar, but it'll be like, here are the tasks that came out of the meeting. Accept, right, or whatever. So it'll do that sort of thing. So that was cool. I didn't actually do it because it was, I mean, honestly, just a little bit more setup work. But that was an exciting prospect, and maybe that's a future video probably. Yeah, a little bit heavier, a little bit more involved, a little bit more expensive. It's like $30 a seat for the base. For the business suite, I think it's, what is it, $50. So yeah, per seat, it can be pricey, but it is trying to be a little bit more that, again, that Cadillac type approach. So, I mean, similar but different than yours. You know, the base is the same, right? These core
Yeah.
functionalities, but it's the bells and whistles around it, I think, where these different tools try to differentiate themselves.
Yeah, I think it was one of they came out, they're kind of like the Salesforce of CRMs, and they have all this stuff. And then there were dumbed down versions that copied them. And I think Reclaim is that, honestly. And that's kind of a lot of their marketing is like the simple and the kind of
Right.
one track
Exactly.
mind
Yeah.
type thing. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the prospects of these tools are really cool, though. Like if they can start doing this well, scheduling your day well. I really like the scheduling links. I can't remember if you said that, but I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
Motion has that.
They
Yeah.
do have that. Yeah.
Um, if it can start reading your email and answering people and all that, then it can really replace an assistant. I think we're a bit of a ways away from that, but they're really cool. But definitely Motion is like when they came out, they're one of the typical Silicon Valley, like just pumping into AdWords. You would see them everywhere. Yeah, yeah. And now they're jacking their rates and all that. So I mean, they're a good app, but that is a good point. They're kind of a lot for most, I would say, or for many. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's something these tools kind of have to balance. You know, they usually start small business because those are the people who can pick it up quickly and just take it and go. And it's like, okay, great. And then they get to their series whatever, and then all their shareholders say, okay, you got to get an enterprise now. Like, yeah, start doing these things, and enterprise needs a lot more, and this and that, and
Yeah.
now they're playing on both sides of the fence. It's tough. I mean, I don't know. It's an interesting thing. I think that my opinion is it wasn't so confusing motion. Like when I saw that stuff, I was like, oh crap, here we go. I was pleasantly surprised in that sense, where it's like, okay, they're still keeping things relatively simple for their core functionality, but there is a little bit too much noise, I would say, in my opinion. But maybe that's super important for the enterprise guys. So it's an interesting thing for these, I guess, these tools to find that balance. But I don't think they threw the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak. I don't think they gave up on their core functionality by adding into these, some of these add-on type things.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Well, some good apps.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any more. I'm honestly curious. Maybe this will be a future video about that AI note taker meeting thing. Like, I think we could use that.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean, we already do use Fathom, right? So
yeah,
yeah.
a few of us in our team do, but that I've literally done what you're saying, where my Fathom records, it takes the tasks that come out or the promises and launches them into Fathom or
You did
into
that through like
Reclaim.
Zapier or something.
Yeah. So I had to build
Yeah.
this whole thing. But the downsides are it doesn't know who said what. It launches my stuff and the client. So I got to clean it up. It doesn't get due dates, so it just launches it all in, and I got it. So it's kind of like an inbox, which is good. And then I
Yeah.
kind of deprioritize or reprioritize. But it would be cool if it could figure that stuff out. And I'm sure
Sure.
Motion will be better at that. It'll know if I'm saying something because I'm the Motion subscriber.
Yeah.
So,
Totally.
anyways,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be cool. I guess we were supposed to pick our topic for next week too.
I know we're guilty of this. Yeah. I don't know. We'll keep it a surprise again. I mean, we tried to do it. We tried to pick something on the fly last episode, and that
Didn't work.
backfired in a really real way. So yeah, we'll have to try and figure it out as we go. But I think there's some exciting things out there where we've been seeing some exciting things. So maybe another good week. But yeah, these are cool ones. This is one where it's like I want to like kind of dig in more and learn more about these types of tools. So I'm glad we did it.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
episode 4 in
yeah,
the
in the
books.
books. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next week.
That's what they say, right? I think it's either, 4 is your first milestone. We have a friend who started a podcast. He only did one, so we're already 4 times 4 times better
Well,
than
we
that.
officially passed 10 subscribers this week,
Yeah, we're at
which
12
is,
subscribers.
yeah.
Yeah,
So we're
yeah,
in the double
yeah,
digits. That's big.
yeah.
It'll be, I don't know, a couple weeks till we're in the triple digits
Yeah, I
at
mean,
the
we're
rate we're
rolling, man.
going. Yeah.
Well, honestly, first week it was like 6.4 in terms of views. Now we're in like the
Yeah.
70s, right? So whatever, or 60s. So
Something's happening.
It's moving. We're
Yeah.
moving. Anyways, we'll see everyone next week. Thanks.